Today, we're taking you along for an exclusive look at my first class experience on United Airlines from Chicago O'Hare to San Francisco International Airport. We're diving into all the details to see if United's premium cabin lives up to the hype. Stick around for a full trip report, including seat features, dining, and more.
We are here at Chicago O'Hare International Airport for the first time for me since May, and we are about to go to San Francisco on the United 737-900ER. So let's see how this next cabin in first class is.
United's boarding process continues to be my favorite of the major U.S. airlines. First class passengers are in boarding group 1, and I was so excited to get on this flight, I was one of the first in line. This particular airframe was retrofitted with United's new cabin known as Next. It includes bigger screens, larger seats, and updated overhead bins that have space for extra baggage. Having more room and space is only one perk of flying in the new first-class seat. Included is a plethora of in-flight entertainment options and a vast selection of food and drink, but more on that later. Soon, everyone was on board and we began to push back from the gate. This was actually my first time in a domestic first-class seat on any carrier, of course not counting my Delta One experience back in May. Shortly after our departure, our service started. Flight attendants came around and took our beverage order. About a week before this trip, I got an email from United asking what food I'd like to pre-order. Since this was an 8:30 a.m. departure from O'Hare, breakfast was being served, and I chose the smoothie bowl with shaved coconut and almonds. Also on the tray was a bowl of fresh fruit and a croissant with butter and strawberry jam. Let me just say, this was probably the best meal I've ever had 35,000 feet up in the air. After a few more of the Sleigh Bell Spritz beverages, it was time to take a trip to the lav. I'll say one thing about these lavs on the 737s. I'm 5'7" and they are cramped, but that did nothing to diminish the immaculate vibes of this flight. Earlier, I had touched on the fact that I'd never actually been in a regular domestic first class seat, so what makes them so different than economy? Well, in first class, you'll get up to 38 inches of legroom compared to just 31 in economy. That's 7 extra inches to stretch out. The seats are also wider, up to 21 inches versus 17 in economy on United 739s, giving you much more personal space. Plus, first class reclines twice as much, making it easier to relax on long flights like this one. Add priority boarding, better meals, and an overall more premium experience, and it's clear why first class is designed to be more comfortable and enjoyable. Soon enough, the Great Plains faded into the Rocky Mountains. This was my first time doing a trip like this fully in daylight since January when I was on the other side of the plane. The views of the vastly different landscapes were breathtaking, and we even got to see our first glimpse of a snowy terrain below us. As we soared over the rugged peaks, the sunlight glinted off the snow-covered summits, creating an almost magical scene. The contrast between the flat, endless plains and the towering Rockies was striking, showcasing just how diverse the United States landscape really is. I couldn't help but keep my eyes glued to the window, snapping pictures and videos whenever a particularly stunning view came into sight. The descent into San Francisco brought yet another shift in scenery as the towering mountains gradually gave way to a more subdued landscape of rugged hills and sprawling, almost desert-like terrain. Below, the patchwork of lakes and reservoirs glistened in the sunlight, their shimmering blue waters standing out starkly against the dry, golden-brown earth surrounding them. The transition was subtle at first, with the arid hues dominating the landscape, dotted with sparse vegetation and winding rivers that cut through the valleys. As we flew further west, the scenery began to change once more. The brown hills softened into rolling green pastures, signaling our approach into the more fertile and lush coastal regions of Northern California. The contrast was incredible. It was as if the land was waking up, growing more vibrant with each passing mile. Soon, the sprawling expanse of the San Francisco Bay came into view. The bay's calm waters sparkled in the morning light, crisscrossed by iconic landmarks like the Bay Bridge and dotted with small boats and larger ships. Around the bay, the urban sprawl stretched out in every direction, with the city of San Francisco's distinctive grid pattern and its famous hills standing out among the surrounding towns and neighborhoods. Our landing into San Francisco was incredibly smooth, with just a slight bump as the wheels touched down. The aircraft slowed gracefully as we rolled down the runway, surrounded by the busy activity of one of the country's most dynamic airports. As we taxied to the gate, I noticed the incredible variety of planes, from United's signature fleet to massive international carriers like ANA and even Emirates. San Francisco International Airport serves as a vital hub connecting flights from Asia to the rest of the world. With nonstop routes to cities like Tokyo, Seoul, and Shanghai, it's a key gateway for international travel. Seeing these planes preparing for their next journey was just a reminder of how airports like San Francisco connect millions of people and cultures, making global travel seamless and accessible. As we wrapped up our journey, I couldn't help but reflect on the incredible experience, from the comfort of the first-class cabin to the stunning views along the way. Whether you're flying for business or leisure, it's moments like these that make air travel so special. Thank you so much for joining me on this trip from Chicago to San Francisco. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and drop a comment to let me know what you'd like to see next. Safe travels, and I'll see you in the next one.